Hey y'all, Krystal here. I'm looking over here because I'm just pulling up my computer to get some work done with God this afternoon while my children are napping and before it's time for the other ones to come home. And I want to try to get me a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes in of just rest, because I'm still a mom of a pretty much still newborn. She's a month and 3 weeks. We coming up that 2-month mark. It went by so fast almost, but so y'all, I'm running short. So what I'm running on is the strength of God, supernatural strength, right? But I wanted to share something real quick. And this will be the testimony with Krystal, right? So God has really been speaking to me and just reminding me of who I am through so many different just platforms I've been on. Just reminding me of things, right? And this is the good thing about staying in the presence of God and staying in relationship with God and talking to Him. I mean, all day long, like pray without ceasing, right? Like that's the same to me as conversating with Him all the time. Like, and I'm constantly in conversation with God, especially when my feelings trying to rise up and my emotions trying to rise up and old things and thoughts and habits are trying to rise up. I'm like, okay, God. All right, devil, you can go now, right? So God has been reminding me of, well, I would say reminding me of this, this moment I had last year. I went to Millions Conference. And if you're not familiar with the Women's Conference, Tiffany Montgomery and Millions, I have been trying to get to Millions for like 2 years. And every time the time would come, I did not have the money to go. But last year was such a life-changing year for me, y'all. Like, the grace of God is so, like, I got a testimony just out of 2021 alone. Like, but I was reminded of a moment that happened when I went to Millions Conference. And this conference gets bigger and bigger every year. And it's a conference for it's for anybody, but mostly kingdom entrepreneurs. It's about just getting, staying in the presence of God as an entrepreneur, getting strategies from Him, doing what He wants you to do in the way that He wants you to do it as an entrepreneur. And she has some amazing guests there. And I think I'm actually it's been on my mind to watch the replay. I bought the replay as well. So this was September 2021. I went to Millions Conference by myself. First time traveling by myself. Flying for the first time, pretty much. Because the last time I had flown was in 2005. When I was listening to my parents, and tried to go in the Coast Guard. That was the last time I flew. So first time flying pretty much again that's my second flight ever in my life. And I went to Millions by myself. I was about 6 months pregnant. Just a lot going on, and I'm just like, Lord, I need to be in this place. And as I was, preparing and even on my way to go to this conference, I was just like, Lord, I know nothing. My mind is a clean slate. I'm going here knowing nothing. Just like, not my own fleshly expectation, not expecting you to just speak to certain areas of my life. Like, Lord, I need you to just move. Like, I'm going in here new, clean slate, speak to me, do whatever you have to do. So this was the first day of conference, I believe. I have it written down somewhere because I wrote it down. first day of conference, I'm in the line. It was either first or second day. Because my friend that I was there with, she was actually VIP. So I'm going to make sure I do VIP this year. But she was actually VIP. So we went separate ways. I was in the line waiting. And I was on the phone with my husband while we were in the line waiting for the doors to open. And y'all, this was so unexpected. I know I'm taking a long time to get to the story. But this lady, I'm just in the line. And this lady, she comes up to me and she said, "Is your name Krystal?" Y'all, I'm like, I paused because I was like, I wasn't expecting nobody to know me here except the one person I'm here with. So I'm looking at her like to make sure she's not a classmate or somebody from middle school or high school or something like that. I was like, yeah. And she just like, I was like, I'm still looking at her like, okay. She was like, it's like, yeah. I was like, do I know you? Like, we know each other from school or something like that? She was like, no, I saw you on Facebook. And I was like, oh, really? She explained to me that she saw me on Facebook through, she's like, you have fearless money. You talk money, right? Like fearless money. I was like, yeah. And she was like, I seen your videos on Facebook through a friend, or somehow she saw my videos on Facebook, y'all. I don't think we had mutual friends because I asked her if we did, and I don't recall her saying that we had mutual friends. She just said she saw my videos on Facebook. My mind was blown. Like, and my husband, I was on the phone. He was like, girl, you a celebrity? I was like, what? Did this just really happen? I was like, the one person out of it was thousands of people there. Like, I was gonna say hundreds, but it was over 1,000 people there. So, because that room was packed. So I was like, this one person, a stranger out of thousands of people, saw me, knew my name, and knew that I talked money. And I'm like, yeah. And I was just like, because my husband was like, girl, you a celebrity? And, you know, he began to speak to me because he said that goes to show you that what you're doing is not in vain. And I was just like, Lord, have mercy. Like, if I didn't go there for anything else from that conference, it was for that. Like, God was pretty much reminding me that you do this, what I told you to do. He was like, do that and don't get distracted. Like, unless I tell you to do otherwise, right? He was like, do that and don't get, like, yes, you're seen. Stop feeling like you're unseen. What you're doing is in vain. Stop feeling like you're wasting your time, because if I called you to it, you just need to do it. Don't worry about who, what, when, why, how many followers and likes and stuff like that. Just show up, because this is the reason why. That one person out of thousands. And y'all, like I said, I didn't go there expecting to run into anybody. I just knew I was going to be with my one friend, my roomie, at this conference, and that was it. That's all I knew. And I'm like, Lord, move in whichever way you have to move through this conference. And he moved in a powerful way. But just through that one person, I know you, I seen your videos, you talk money, right? I'm like, yeah. And I hadn't even done anything in a while, because life, y'all, I allowed life to get in the way, distract me, and just knock me off my feet. Because I'm sure at the time, probably when she saw those videos, I felt like I was in the vein of God. Like, I was really, truly a branch. Like, I was on it. Like, I was truly connected to God, and I was really flowing in what I was doing at that time. So I know that had to be around the time when she saw all of this stuff, and then I just got off track, and life just, you know, started to happen, and I wasn't doing it anymore. But she saw me, and she knew me, a complete stranger. And God reminded me of that today, because I'm always being reminded to not grow weary in well-doing. Don't grow weary in what I'm doing. You have to start somewhere. Like, you can't put in your mind that when you start, you're going to be an overnight success. You can't put in your mind that you know, the opinions of man. Like, what are they going to think? And for people that know me, like, in my mind, this is how I set myself up. Because I was like, Lord, why did you call me to money? Like, money? To talk money? Why? And I ran from it. And during this time when she saw me, I was still running from it. Because I'm like, Lord, I don't want to talk money. I'm not rich. I'm not wealthy. I'm not a person that... I felt unqualified to be talking about money just because of my own personal situation. And that's not what God is worried about. He was just like, I need you to be obedient, and this is why. This is why. He reminded me of who I was when I was, during that time when I was doing those videos and just really flowing and consistently showing up. He reminded me of who I was. He reminded me of the joy I had in doing that. He reminded me of like the community that I was gathering, the people that I was encouraging, the people that he was bringing into my life at that time that I feel like I just sabotaged. He showed me, he reminded me of all of that. And he's pretty much like, Krystal, this is what happens when you just stay in your lane. Like, I'm reminding you of who you are and who I called you to be. And you just need to be that person. Don't try to go over here and become somebody that you think you should be. Don't go conform to the words and opinions of other people, because that doesn't matter. This one person, obviously you had some type of impact, influence on her, for her to point you out in thousands of people. Y'all, I'm not even a celebrity. I'm not like Tiffany Montgomery. Like, I'm not like her yet. I'm not up there and have that influence. I'm not gonna say I don't have that influence, but I'm not up there on her level to be seen worldwide yet, and globally and internationally like her. But in these thousands of people, this one person, she pointed me out, like, randomly. And it was like, what a coincidence. Like, I'm in this line and I'm waiting to go inside, and she actually, I think I actually ended up getting in a line behind her, or she got in a line behind me. But she was just like, are you Krystal? And y'all, I should have got her information, because I never got her information. I never connected with her again. Like, I don't even remember if I saw her. I think I saw her one time, but it was like it was a passing by type of thing. Like, can't really stop and talk to her. And God is just like, you know, he reminded me. So I want to encourage you that if you just ask God and you seek him, and you just feel like you're in this place where you need to heal and you need to overcome, and you just feel like you're weary and, Lord, what do? I don't know what to do. I'm just like this. He will remind you of what you're supposed to be doing. Because this morning that came back to me about millions. And I'm just like, okay, God, I know. Because I enjoyed who I was during that time. I enjoyed what was happening. And I'm saying this because I just did a Daniel fast, a corporate fast with my church. I did a Daniel fast for the first time the last week of January, last month. And I just wanted God to restore my joy. Like, I felt like I had lost. I don't know if I lost it or never had it, or I'm sure I had it as a child. But I just feel like I'm at this time in my life when I should be feeling the most joy and happiness and content about my life and what he's done for me in the past year. I just felt like I had no joy, and I just wanted God to restore my joy, and that's what I was seeking him for. So he's been speaking to me even since the fast, and it's been 2 weeks since we've completed that fast. And I know I need to go deeper and do more fasting because of this. I really feel that deeply. And he just reminded me of a lot of things. And you may need God to remind you of these moments in your life where you had an encounter that was nothing but him. But the encounter was just to remind you of who he created you to be. I just posted this video on my TikTok. And you can go follow me there, Krystal_Clayton, on my TikTok and my Instagram, Krystal_Clayton_. I posted that, you know, may you operate as the person that God created you to be from the moment he spoke heaven and earth into existence. Because the moment he spoke heaven and earth into existence, you were a part of that. When he said, let there be light, darkness, heaven, earth, and he created all of this stuff, you were in there. You were in that plan. So imagine how powerful that breath, just let there be, Krystal. And here I am in the flesh. Like, here I am, the breath of God, his words, let there be, Krystal. The day he spoke heaven and earth into existence, he had a time for me to come. He knew what my life was going to be. He knew that he was going to gather all of these things to have me do the things that he created me. The reason he put breath in my body, he created me to do, talk money, do fearless money, just all of these things. He makes, let there be. And here I am. So I have to find joy in that. And God has to use these things to remind us, like, girl, you over here, I don't discount your emotions and your feelings, Krystal, but I still got something for you to do. And it's very powerful. Like, I've called you to level these mountains, these mountains of poverty, impoverished thinking, poverty and, money in people's accounts. You just level these mountains of all of these things that are attached to people's poverty. Because what I'm learning is that, like, poverty is a sign of pretty much how you feel about yourself. So if you're impoverished, you're in lack, you don't have enough, you're living like just no abundance, no joy, no fruit, it's because it's what's going on within you and how you feel about yourself. And that's what God is dealing with me and healing in me. And he takes these things to remind me of who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. And he's like, Krystal, if you do that, it's not going to be easy, but if you do what I'm telling you to do, it will not be hard for you. So I just wanted to encourage you that God will remind you, or even I encourage you to really seek his face and ask him to remind you of who you are, remind you of the moments you were joyous and you were enjoying your life, and remind you of the moments that you were in his will and doing what he called you to do. If you've lost that, ask him to remind you and to show you what it is. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing right now, you need the Lord. You need to seek him about what it is. So I'm just thankful for that. I'm thankful that God reminded me of that moment, because there is a lot of times I get off track. My 5 kids, my marriage, all of this, stuff I got going on in my house. I get distracted from what God wants me to do, and God has called me to do something that I thoroughly enjoy, but the enemy is trying to tell me otherwise. Like, you don't enjoy doing that, you can't talk about that. Y'all like to be in front of the camera. I love to speak, I love to communicate, but he tries to use that against me. But God is like, no, this person saw you because you were communicating and you were showing up and you were doing what you love. So that's the tea with Krystal today, the testimony. I wanted to share that. And I'm going to also share something that I share on prophetic planning for your day today. I got to speak on the floor, so I'm going to share that really quick.
Share what God gave you in the past.
Good morning. So this is what I got. Just do all, in capital letters, I've told you to do. Don't pick or choose which ones I told you to do. Do it all and release your thoughts to me. Everything I've told you to do shows my love for you, my very breath. When you do what I've told you to do, you are living the breath of God. I'm breathing on you and through you. When you do what I've told you to do, you receive a fresh wind. You are rejuvenated, not overwhelmed or drained. You have the capacity. Now breathe. And he reminded me of my password. He said, what is your password for 2022? Don't look to the left or right. Don't allow I'm tired to distract you. And anytime you open your computer or phone or iPad to work, make sure it's something I've told you to do. And that's all that I've had.
Oof, that Krystal. Like, glory to God. That was so good. He said that when you do what I have told you to do, you are living in the breath of God. Oh my goodness, that was so good.